All East is standing against all West. When corrupt Roman leader Tiberius arrives with a giant army to claim the Silk Road, after killing his own father for taking the power over the Roman army. I have to say, this story is a little bit hard to tell, but we give it a try. It starts in modern day with modern technology. A team of archaeologists are heading to an ancient city to see if the story about Regum city is true. They are separated when they get at the place. A team with 2 persons get the main palace. They see it's true, the city is truly existed. As they commence virtual scanning, we open up in Silk Road, also says Silk Route, around Han Dynasty reign China, and 36 other nations who share the Silk Road, where 2 of those nations are about to start a battle, but Huan interrupts them, not letting them to fight. Hu is from Han nation who have lost his family by the war and was brought up by General Han. Huan grows up with strong values of peace and courage instilled in him by General Han. After General Han fought all his life for peace, now Huan becomes the leader of the protection squad of Silk Road to continue General Han's journey. One of the nation's leaders has a daughter who is whipping Huan when he tries to stop them from fighting. After him touching her breast, it gets serious. Then he unveils her accidentally, which it means he has to marry her because it's in their tradition. Next thing we see, she's getting ready for Huan, but he gives the will and runs out to his wife, where his wife is teaching orphans from all different tribes. They raise them as their own kids. As he's writing a letter by the help of his wife to the higher authorities for raising salaries, one of his men knocks on the door to give the news of accusation upon protection squad for corruption. Apparently somebody sets them up for gold smuggling. Anyway, they vanished to a windy mountain called Wild Geese Gate to work and complete the fortress. As they get there, we see an armor. Then flashback in time where General Han was fighting for freedom and peace, and Huan has been a child where his little sister has died, and he stabs General Han out of anger. General Han instead quote him about being able to kill some and protecting others at the same time. Back at Geese Gate, the place is built by all surrounding nations and ruled by a sloppy man who claims himself as the chief. Then we see a group of Roman army heading to the gate. The commander of the army named Lucius. They have a young boy with them who is blind. The sloppy captain orders firing at them and then chasing them before Huan warns them not to chase because it's clearly a trap, but they charge and are taken as hostages. Then Huan takes a charge and tries to convince Lucius to go back, but he is too far from home with no food and supplies, and starts fighting. He needs to take the place and supply for his men by force. As they are fighting, his men are falling out of hunger and exhaustion, and the little guy is not feeling good. Plus the sandstorm is coming as well. Finally, Huan convinces Lucius to put down his weapon. He will let them in for resting, food and water, medicine for the child. At night, as Hu and Lucius are talking about the next day where to live and why even he is out in the Silk Road near China, the panicked farmer commander of the Geese Gate shows up, crying that they are ordered to complete the rebuilding fortress in 15 days, which is impossible. Next day, Romans volunteer to complete rebuilding using their superior engineering skills. In return, Lucius wants Huan to help his envoys reach the Parthian Empire. Why Parthian Empire? I will tell you why. Another night, it happens for the two get to drink and talk. We get a hint on why Parthian Empire and Lucius' story of being out in the Silk Road. He and his men are fugitives. He used to be a top general for Roman Council. Consulship position in ancient Rome was the second highest after imperial. It's a little bit confusing, but as Lucius tells the story to Huan, the Roman Council and Parthian Empire have made alliance and named his younger son as next throne holder. So this little guy named Publius is a prince, who his older brother Tiberius has blinded him and has killed his father, which means he has killed his own father, the consul, for throne. The reason was the consul has set his little son as next, not Tiberius, his older son. Now that the Roman council has collapsed by Tiberius, Parthian Empire has to show up and defend the throne as they have contract with the young lord. And Huan talks about the time he lost his family except his little sister, who he took her and ran away. But his sister was crying. He kept her mouth shut using his hands, afraid of enemies may hear and find them, but he kept holding on too long. She died. As they toast their last shot and realizing they two are the same, one of the Roman soldiers delivers the news of Tiberius is heading to the Silk Road with 10,000 men army. The little prince Publius doesn't want to run no more. He says to deliver him to his brother and let his brother to kill him, and wants Lucius to run and save his life and his men. Lucius wants to meet Tiberius, but Huan believes that Tiberius is not only for them here with 10,000 men. Tiberius is here to conquer the whole Silk Road and the surrounding nations. So this war includes every nation involved in the Silk Road. Soon after Publius honored him with a golden dagger, Juan is out for reinforcement and first saving his wife and his orphans, only to find out that his second-in-command, revealed to be a corrupt soldier, has sent soldiers to murder his wife and attack Wild Geese Gate in attempt to help Tiberius in his conquest of Silk Road, just to become the protection squad's commanding prefect. Juan saves his wife and orphans with the help from the Cold Moon, the girl who is still thinking Juan is her husband, and his wife is deadly wounded when she tries to rescue one of the orphans. At her dying breath, she convinces Juan to protect the orphans. Meanwhile, Lucius is betrayed and imprisoned alongside of his legionaries in the city where Tiberius and his legions are encamped. Tiberius talks about the whole plan that he has long before plotted by the help of the man who betrayed them all, even at the beginning where the protection squad was accused of smuggling gold and banished to the Geese Gate. It was all planned by Tiberius, and says he purposely has let Lucius escape and thanks him for giving him the excuse to bring his army to the Silk Road. Lucius begs him to let the child live, but he already ended his life with the help of the man who has been always nursing him. Back at Geese Gate, Juan gets the news of Lucius has been captured, and others around him want to run away. After Juan talks about his past life and his passion about peace and harmony, some of them join him to fight against Tiberius. Juan enters the camp by the help of his own men playing as traitors, and breaks the cages and free Lucius' men as well. Yenpo, who has betrayed Juan, brings his army to help Tiberius. In return, he can have the prefectship title, but his men don't know what's up and starts fighting against Tiberius as soon as Juan and his men initiate the war. Then Yenpo gets killed by Tiberius. Juan attempts to free Lucius, but he is unable to break the chains, and Lucius begs him to end his suffering instead. They fight their way out from the camp to the battlefield, Juan severely injured. The casualties are by hundreds. Then the other tribe arrive with their army, including Han tribe, Cold Moon, the girl, with her army, father and brother, plus her eagles. She is a keeper. She says she wants to die for him. This time the casualties are by the thousands, until Parthian's army arrive, and Parthian's queen claims they have signed the peace treaty so that guarantees his little brother's safety, because Tiberius' father knew his evil plan. The man who is with Tiberius says it's not too late to give up. Also, he is his master at teaching him stuff, but he has never taught him to kill his own father. He tries to take his weapon, but Tiberius kills him. He accepts the blame of killing his family and wants to resolve it by fighting. Juan challenges Tiberius to a duel. Tiberius rejects him because Juan is not a Roman, so he cannot challenge him by some reason. But some other warriors who were witness Publius has named Juan as a Roman warrior confirm him as a Roman. So Tiberius has to fight Juan, and he does. In fact, he easily can kill Juan as a better fighter, plus Juan has fought hundreds of men until he got to Tiberius. Plus he is injured and out of juice. He is almost ready to be beheaded. Then he visions Lucius, his friend's face, and his excavated eyes, which motivate him not to give up. As Tiberius raises his sword and landing on his neck, he counters the strike with his arm shield and breaks Tiberius' arm, then cuts open his neck. Tiberius scrambles for a weapon. No one helps him, including his own men. He pulls out the dagger out of Juan's body and kills himself. He dies singing the anthem of the legion. After the battle, the Chinese emperor allows the Romans to establish their own city, naming it Regum. Upon hearing their bravery, the emperor also allows the surviving nomadic inhabitants of the Wild Geese Gate to join the protection squad with Juan and as their commander. Juan and his men then honor their fallen comrades, especially Lucius, by relocating Wild Geese Gate shrine to Regum.